Hey, welcome back. And if you are just stopping by now for a visit to the channel, we have been looking at the figures that are going to be re-released in the upcoming Platinum Edition Hero Set. It was an exciting announcement because the figures are great. And we've looked at them all so far. Cop, Blur, RC, and Springer, and we have one left to look at. It is this guy. It is the City Commander himself. It is the absolutely awesome Transformers Combiner Wars Leader Class Ultra Magnus. Stick around for the GotBot True review of this guy. Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. And I'm going to start off with, look at this, a trading card. We haven't seen one of them in a little while since all of the Combiner Wars series. It's a trading card. Yay, I guess. You know, it's nice artwork. Whatever. So we move on. We move on. And I'm going to, very quickly, before we talk about this guy at all, I'm going to bring in RC. And I'm going to bring in if you give me a second here, I'm going to bring in Springer, I guess over here we'll say, over there-ish. I'm going to bring in Cop. Now remember, these are the retail releases that came of these figures. The Platinum Edition set will have certainly more G1 inspired decos, and I have already talked about that in other videos, and I will talk about it as it relates to Ultra Magnus in this one. There's the set. Look, in celebration of 30 years since the animated movie, this is a phenomenal set. If you don't have these figures and you're a Transformers collector, you should have them. Are they good for kids? Springer is pretty good for kids. I don't think I would give RC to kids because she's kind of delicate. Cop, pretty good, but there's one challenge with his transformation around the hood section because of a couple of spring-loaded pieces. Blur is pretty good for kids. Ultra Magnus might be a bit finicky, but they will probably be able to figure him out. An awesome set. I highly recommend it if you don't have these. If you are wondering what the paint apps are, go back and look at the other videos because I discussed them all there. At the end of this video, I'm going to show kind of the entire main movie cast, I guess. You know, sort of together. Stick around. It'll be a final thoughts thing. How does he compare with a modern day, you know, deluxe? Well, there's off-road. Obviously, he's a lot larger. He's a leader class. How would he compare with other leader classes? He's a large leader class. He's a good size. How does he compare with? Here's a strange comparison for you. With Voyager class Optimus Prime. By the way, look at that beautiful faceplate. If you haven't seen the, you know, updated review with the faceplate, have a look to see how I did that. But, again, I think it scales well. Magnus being a little bit bigger than Prime, yeah, I can buy it. Do I think Magnus should have been a leader class toy? I think Leader's a little bit too big. I think if he had been a bulky Voyager, I would have been happy with that for scale, but all things being equal, I'll take the leader class. Why do I think he shouldn't have quite been leader class? Well, you know, you have Skyfire or Jetfire, he's a leader class, and as large as Magnus is, I don't know if he's as big as what Skyfire is. Maybe not quite. But again, we have to make allowances. Is this a good figure? Yeah, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. This mold is also going to be used for Power Master Optimus Prime. I don't think I'm going to get that because I think the leader class is too big for Optimus. But if you have that leader class Megatron that came out, The Power Master Optimus is going to be a beautiful companion piece for him. Beautiful. This mold works for Magnus. It works great for Power Master Prime. No doubt about it. Plus, it gives Optimus his back. Here, it gives Ultra Magnus his back. So, yeah, big fan of this mold. Paint apps. 10. This is Ultra Magnus. I don't care what anybody says. This is Ultra Magnus. The Legends version I didn't like as much. It had the red thighs, and I know that the toy had red thighs. The animation had white thighs. At least I've said 10 for him all along. And then I saw the version of him that will come out in the Platinum set. The blue on this guy is a bit light. The blue on that guy is a darker shade. So now the paint apps for this guy are 9.5. I think the definitive paint scheme for this mold of Ultra Magnus, the one that's closest to the paint scheme for the Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, is going to be that Platinum Edition set. Yeah, so 9.5. Great start. Posability, playability, that's the next thing that we measure this guy by. And again, I figure that you can also measure the Power Master Optimus Prime by this, to be honest with you. The head goes left and right. It can look up. If you break the sculpt and you see Minimus Ambus in there, it can't really look down. The shoulders, you know, these can go out of the way to let the shoulders go out to the side a nice bit. There's a bicep swivel, heavy ratchets for elbows, but a nice 90-degree elbow. Nothing at the wrist. That would have been nice, but there are articulated fingers. Nice feature. The arms do go all the way around. Nice feature. And of course, with these huge pauldrons, it's really difficult to give Ultra Magnus that outward movement. So I'm glad that they found a way to do it. There is no waist swivel, but that's completely understandable considering the transformation. The legs go way out to the side. The legs go, you know, they can go back. I thought more than that. Maybe not. They can go back just a little bit, but they go forward. Fantastic. And there's a nice deep knee bend. This guy is ratchets everywhere. Heavy ratchets in the hips, ratchets in the knees, ratchets in the elbow, ratchets everywhere, ratchets in the shoulders. If you like ratchets, hey, you're gonna love this guy. If you don't like ratchets, what can I tell you? Sorry. The posability, playability, oh, and his feet. His feet can do this. They don't go side to side, but they do go forward and back, and you can move them all around because he stands a little weird. Once you get the feet right, he's fine, but you got to get the feet right. Posability, playability for this guy, an 8. An 8. He's really good. He's not perfect, but he's really good. And in truck mode, he rolls beautifully. He rolls fantastic in truck mode. So an 8. We have great paint apps. We have great posability, playability. We're going to take a look now at the transformation. Actually, before that, let's take a look at his weapons. You can store his guns, of course, on his legs. You can store his shoulder rocket things on his shoulders. You can take the guns off of his legs, though I rarely do it. And it was a nice idea to be able to put it in his hand, you know, and have his hand close around the gun, and to put this one in this hand, and again have the hand close around the gun. As long as he's just standing there, he's all right, but if you shake him, like, you're going to lose the guns eventually. It is what it is. That being said, there's another option with these guns. They, I guess because this was Combiner Wars, they combine. There's a peg on the top of this gun. And of course, there's a nozzle on this one. And you can put the two guns together like so. Okay, great. So what? Big deal. Well, you can take off his shoulder rockets like so. And we have a hole on this side and a hole on this side. You might not be able to see it because it's black, but you can stick the, the shoulder rockets however you please in there. And you can have a Magnus hammer, because for some reason every Magnus now needs to have a Magnus hammer. And it fits in his hand. You take it and you put it in like that. There's a cut right here for it to fit into, and you hold it like that. And some people have complained and said, well, it's loose, and so it is. And some people have complained and said, well, he can only hold it in one hand. You can get him to like two-hand wield it, kind of, but it's not practical to do so. Let me put it to you that way. If you get him to two-hand wield it, it's really only for a picture. Okay, so like he can, and it looks not the best, but he can do it. I've taken pictures of him with him wheeling it over Combiner War Cyclonus, actually. So if you check me out on social media, I guess you'll probably be able to see some of those images. So yeah, he can do it. It just takes a little bit of work to do so, and you're not going to be able to get him in every pose that you want doing it. Again, nice idea if you're into the whole Magnus hammer thing. And I guess a nice idea where it is Combiner Wars. What else can I say about this guy before we go into transformation? I don't think there's anything else to say about this guy before we go into transformation. We will go into truck mode. I'll take a look at Minimus Ambus now, along the way. And Minimus Ambus is included in that Platinum Edition set for some weird reason. I kind of like the Legends version of him painted as Alpha Trion. That's what I would say to that. And how do you get to Minimus Ambus? Well, you lift up the head of Ultra Magnus, because in the IDW comics, Ultra Magnus died, and they took his body basically and turned it into a transector basically. But instead of a human, inside we have a little figure inside. Now I'll take a look at Minimus Ambus now. He's white and green, and he's a robot, and the arms can go around like this with no elbows, and the head doesn't, I don't think the head moves. No, the head does not move, and the legs can go forward, and they can go back, and there's a very deep knee bend. Yeah, okay, I mean, he's alright. He's probably about the size of what a Titan's Returns Titan is going to be, maybe? I'm not sure. To transform this guy, because he does transform. Oh, yes! Yes, you can get very excited. You take out his back and you bring it up over his head and bring it in. You fold his legs up like so and peg them together like that. And you take the arms and you fold them in on the sides. And when you fold them in on the sides, they should hold like that. And you get this little hover car, I guess, because he has no tires. None. So, hover car. He has an Autobot symbol. Is that good? I don't know. I'm indifferent to this guy. I don't care. I have zero connection to him. If he was never included, I wouldn't care. I'm fine with Magnus. I'm fine with Ultra Magnus, Put that together. Put that in. I'm kind of fine with Ultra Magnus being like this. The only thing is, if you do this, you kind of got some gappiness up in the neck where the shoulders of this guy fill in with white. So that's why I do put him inside. Okay, so laying Minimus Ambus aside, laying this aside, let's get into Ultra Magnus himself. And as you might well expect, Ultra Magnus he's a tricky bugger. He is a bit of a tricky bugger. So where do we start with him? We start by, let's pull down that chest piece so that we can see the cab of the truck. And we can open up the cab of the truck, or we should be able to open up the cab of the truck, like so. And we can take Ultra Magnus's head and put it inside And that white flap that was on the back, we flip all that down around. We close the cab up, but when you do so, close this side in first. Why? Because there's a little Autobot symbol right there. Beautiful little Autobot symbol right there. But it, you know, kind of guides you as to what part needs to go in first. We take this whole section and we flip it up like so. Let me get this arm out of the way. And we turn it around like so. When we turn it around and line it up with the backpack, we can tab it in. No problem. No problem. Tabbed in. And that's kind of the front of the truck done. Except for the fact that on this slider here, you need to push the cab up. Now, the slider can be a little tricky, but it's handleable. It is handleable. And now we have a Magnus body and the front of a truck. Okay. So what do we do next? Now that we have this much of a mess made of things. Well, undo the chest. And this whole body piece, straighten it out like this. That's going to be the bed of the truck. Just like that. The arms, you can push them all the way down, like so. And if you're so inclined, you know, you can even take these pieces and bring them out over his hand. All you're doing is taking this piece, angling it out, and bringing it out over his hand. And then, as you always do with Ultra Magnus, you take these pieces and you flip them up like so. When you flip them up, you tab them together. There's a tab here, there's a hole here, there's a tab here and a hole. So you tab the shoulder pieces together like so. These, you know, pieces on the back, you again just squeeze them together like so, and you have an idea of how this is going to come together now. But we still need to deal with the legs. How do we deal with the legs? Well, you come back here and you see these two red pieces. You take them and fold that down. You take this piece and you fold it down, and you fold the whole thing out. Just like so. Just like so. And you can see how this is going to go, can't you? Next, you need to get this whole leg chunk out. And you do it like that. And on this side, again, it tabs in. There's a, if you're looking here, maybe you can see, maybe you can't. There's a tab on this part that goes into the blue of the leg. You untab it, and you bring the whole thing forward like so. And now he looks like a great fiddly mess. But he's actually not. He's actually not, because what we do with this now is very clean, actually. We bring the legs out, and we bring the legs out, and we take the feet and bring them all the way down and in under, like so. The feet all the way down and in under, like so. And then we can peg his legs together. It might help if you take that apart. Now you should be able now to peg his legs together. And if you want, you know, that added stability, you take this chest piece here and you push down into this slot here on the legs. So you bring the legs out. I guess I'll show this. There's actually a peg and a hole here, and the same on the other side, and that's how the legs peg together. So you want to line those up as best you can and peg them together. You bring this piece down, this chest piece down, and it slots in right there. Just like so. And we have pretty much the back done. These pieces on the side now, I just popped something off. which has never happened to me before. Thankfully it's not broken. But now I need to peg this back in. Wow, that's never happened before. That has never happened before. Okay, as I was saying, we take those pieces now and bring them up, and you're going to see, I want to see if I can show it to you. You're going to see a hole right here, right there, just under my finger. And there's a little white tab here on the side, and sorry, little white tab up here on the side, and that red piece goes in right there, and that red piece goes in, or it should go in, if I have this done correctly. I do find that those red pieces can be a little finicky. You put up these pieces if they weren't up, and you know, tab it in and tab it in, and you bring down the arms. And when you bring down the arms, again, you'll notice there's a blue tab right here and a blue tab right here. There is a hole right here, and same on the other side, there's a hole up right there. And the arms just slot into those holes, like so. And in the end, you have Ultra Magnus in his vehicle mode, and he rolls fantastic. If you wanted to take this apart, you certainly can. The guns you can store right here. Well, actually, you can store them up top, sticking out this way, or you can store them down by the tires, sticking up like, I don't know, smokestacks on the back for some weird reason. I guess you could do that, like so. And the shoulder pieces, you can bring them right up and peg it in there, and right up and peg it in on the other side, peg it in over there, like so. And we have, boom, Ultra Magnus in all of his glory, and the trailer moves and you can drive him all around. Minimus Ambus, I mean, you can stick him up there, I suppose, or over on this side, or wherever you want to put him. He does not go in the cab in vehicle mode. Can he hold deluxe class vehicles? Yeah, he can hold a couple of them. He can probably hold two. One on top, one on bottom. I don't have anything in vehicle mode here right now to show that, but we all know roughly the size of a deluxe class vehicle. If you have Legends class vehicles, he can probably hold about 4. Since he is a car carrier. I don't know what else to say other than he's beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. You should get him. You should get this guy if you don't have him. Now, just before I guess we sign off, and before I give final thoughts with the whole crew here, there is I'm going to call it a fan mode, but it's actually more of a mode that's going to be used for Optimus when he comes out. I'm going to kind of show it just so you have an idea of what to sort of expect there. Right now we'll call it fan mode. We'll call it a fan mode, and it's a base mode. So for now, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll call it a fan mode. So you take these shoulder pauldron things off, and we'll take these pieces here off for now. And we will untab his arms and bring them up, and we will bring them out to the side and bring them up around. They're not going to be able to stay like this just yet because we need to bring the cab down, but they're going to go up. The cab, it unattaches, or detaches, there you go. There's a couple of white tabs in there that, this was tabbed into. By the way, this guy should be huge. Look at that little tiny ladder. Anyway, we detach that, and this is going to allow us to turn this whole piece around and bring it back down, and we can push that back down just like so. Now we can put this piece up. Undo these red pieces on the side, and bring them down. This was the one I popped off. And now this chest piece has to come out of here. I find that this chest piece, it fits in here extremely tight. So it might be better if you split the legs a little bit, just so you can sort of finagle that chest piece out, because it doesn't particularly like to come up. Now that you have that out, you take the whole body and you lean it up. And you have it like so. Next, you take the legs and bring them out to the side. And see if I can figure this out. Okay, out to the side, and you turn them like this. Out to the side and turn it down. Put this red piece up and kind of flip it back and turn it like this. And this is kind of the base mode that you're left with. I guess you can bring these up if you're so inclined. You know, this is sorta, I don't know, is that any good? I guess if you wanted to, you could, you know, push these down some if you wanted to fill it in a little bit. You could do that. Some people like to take these and turn it like this for added stability. Why didn't that one turn? There you go. Some people like to turn it like this for added stability. And some people like to take them and turn them around like this for added stability. Okay. I've even seen people flip the feet out like this. I think all of that is kind of a fan mode makeshift. But since we've gone this far with them, hey, we might as well take them from this mode and put them back in robot mode, hey? Because right now he kind of looks like a mess again. So we'll do this really easily. You turn the thigh and bring the leg in. You turn the thigh and bring the leg in. And you straighten the leg out and you bring it down. Straighten the leg out and bring it down. You push that pauldron all the way up and you push that shoulder all the way up and you turn the arms around. You take this blue piece and you angle it back so that it shows his hand again. You take this blue piece and angle it back so that it shows his hand again. You flip down the chest and you can flip out the head. In case you're, a big Minimus Ambus fan, we can, open Minimus Ambus's arms. We can flip his legs back down. We can take his backpack and bring it back down on his body. Although that's a really tight backpack, actually. And I just popped off a ball joint on his leg, but that happens pretty commonly with this guy. Maybe we can't bring this down on his back. I don't like Minimus Ambus. There, I said it. I don't like Minimus Ambus. But you can get him in a seated pose, and I guess place him inside of the Magnus armor. Bring the head down. Close up the chest and bring up the Magnus chest and tab it in. When you bring up the Magnus chest, there's a tab over here and a tab over here, and the chest just tabs on. You can take his shoulder pieces and put them back in. One there and one here. And now we need to deal with the legs again once and for all. Now, the legs are actually a little bit tricky. I'm not going to lie. There is a hole here, and when you flip the leg back, there's a little slot that the leg needs to fit into, but it doesn't like to fit in there well. So you need to really sort of watch it. See if I can show it here. There's a blue tab in here This blue tab way in here needs to go in this blue hole right there. And you may have to click it, just like I did, just then. And when you click it, oh, I think I went too far. See the issue, folks? There you go. Now it's in. Bring that piece up, go around to the back where this red piece is, and flip it over, and twist this piece up. When you do that, there's a little blue tab right here, and a little hole right there, and it just goes on over like that. We do the same on the other side. We bring this up, and we'll bring that down so we can see what we're doing. We tab that in, and we bring this around on the back, and again, blue peg, and the red hole on that red piece tabs on like so. We bring that piece up front, we bring his feet forward like so. We take this gun and we tab it on down here on his leg. We take this gun and we tab it on down there on his leg, and then boom, there we go. Once again, the city commander is back in robot mode. So, transformation for this guy, I know I popped off a piece, but honestly, it's not that bad. It looks hard because there's a lot of pieces that swivel and whatnot, but his transformation is easily an 8. Overall, Ultra Magnus is like a 9. He's an excellent figure. He's the Ultra Magnus that I always wanted. Always wanted. So, in the end, we're going to bring in the main set. Again, just as I did at the beginning of the video. Just like this. And do I recommend the set? Highly. They're all fantastic figures. And just for good measure, let's bring in Wreck-Gar from the Planet of Junk. Well, actually, this is the retail version, but he also got a re-release in the Planet of Junk set. And we're going to bring in the Challenge at Cybertron custom painted version. I added orange to my hot rod. You know, I mean, here's that movie cast, that main cast, your main 3rd season cast. And you know what? They look great. They do. They look fantastic all together. And the truth of the matter is, actually, let me do this. They look fantastic all together. And the truth of the matter is, they never seemed complete until we finally got an RC. And does she want to work with me here? Until we finally got an RC. Now they look complete. Except for Wheelie. Oh, Wheelie. Anyway, if you can get these 5 figures, whether it be, you know, like I did, and I ordered 3 of them from TF Source at great prices. I bought the other 2 at retail. Get them. Whether you get these retail versions, whether you wait and get the Platinum edition, get them. You'll thank yourself as a Transformers collector. They're all great. Okay, so that wraps up another series. Thanks for joining me again. Thanks for taking a visit. And until next time, folks, when we meet again, I wish you well in everything that you do. And I will see you right here next time inside the videos. Thanks for watching.